Welcome, everybody. We're back again at the Crack the Code podcast, and super excited to bring back our friend Kjersten Berard. She was here for episode 3, sharing a bit about her Acts of Kindness program. And I'll just tell you a little bit about her. Again, Kjersten is the founder of the Rewired and Real Foundation, with a mission of bringing awareness and funding to youth mental health and kindness initiatives, as well as supporting youth, families, schools, and educators. So welcome back, Kjersten.
Thank you. Happy to be here again.
Yes, and so excited to learn more about how your whole organization got started, what motivated you. I know there's a little bits and pieces, and on the previous episode we talked about the Acts of Kindness, which is an amazing initiative. It's so easy, doesn't cost anything, and the benefits can be so awesome for people. So
absolutely, and we need it so badly right now. So it's so important.
Yes, with the craziness of the world, any kindness is welcome. So yeah, if you want to maybe give us a little bit more of a story of what sort of maybe an overall, what some of the other bits and pieces are about the organization, and then what kind of led you to start it in the first place.
Sure. So we have 2 main initiatives that we focus on at the Rewired and Real Foundation. One is our Kind Crew movement, and that is a movement really geared at children age 2 on up. There's 5 programs that fall under that umbrella. There's our Kind Hero nominations, where we focus on nominating youth or educators or individuals that work with youth and really are champions of kindness. Let's bring light, let's support those individuals that are being kind, because we know it is so important. And I think sometimes we get, caught up in not being kind. So let's put some light on those individuals that are being kind. You can nominate them on our website, and then through our sponsorships help, we go ahead and we recognize them with an award, a kindness goodness little basket of goodies. And so yeah, they're loving that. Then we have our Kindness Ambassador program, and that is geared towards schools and teachers. So we know teachers typically spend about $750 out of their own pocket. And so we want to do our part in giving back to schools and our educators. We have an online store, and you can go and put in the code. So the school or educator would get a code, and anytime that code is put in at checkout, we give 20% back to that teacher or school to use on youth mental health, supplies, programs, that kind of thing. Then we have our kindness fundraising platform. So rather than doing coupon books that can only maybe be local when you have family elsewhere, we really focus on doing acts of kindness. We have all the materials that your school or organization would need, social media posts, announcements, literally everything taken care of. Your students just need to get out there and do acts of kindness. In return, they get donations, and then we give 75 to 80% back to the school. So that is a lot more than most fundraisers do. So we love that part of it. And then we have our Kind Booth Kit, which is, think of a lemonade stand, but it's a kind booth stand. And so students have 10 different fun activities they can do on their own or with an adult. And then they go out and they sell these different products that they've made, these kindness products, and raise money for youth mental health programs and initiatives. And then lastly, we have our Million A-OK movement, which is what I talked about in your last podcast. It's really doing 1 million acts of kindness from World Kindness Day to February, end of February, collectively, and just really making a big impact. Then our second program is our Impactor Crew program. That is our college-based gamified app. So we know college students need student service learning and volunteer hours. We also know there are a lot of organizations and clubs on campus. So this is a super easy way where they download an app, they can get highlights to their resume, they can support initiatives and causes and organizations that they're passionate about, raise funds for them, bring awareness to them, do positive things within their community, all while fundraising, like I said, getting those student service learning and volunteer hours in. And then they can go above and beyond and earn swag, cash, gift cards, and even compete with other impactors for scholarships and mission trips. So those are kind of our 2 main initiatives that we focus on and are really launching right now.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, it's amazing how much you've done. And how long this organization been around?
Well, we opened 2 years ago and really just are beginning to launch a lot of the programs this year. We launched the Million AOK movement last year, but this year is when we really started pushing out all these other programs that we're talking about and focused on going nationally. So pretty exciting.
Ah, yes, it's amazing how quickly it can get started. So give us some little background on, what, got you going with this in the first place. What happened, or did something happen to you, or, what brought this idea forward for you?
Yes. So definitely walked through a very large transformation and really rewired myself. And in doing so, I started, to become who I really was and start living my real purpose. So that happened for me. Probably started happening 5, 6 years back. I was, in a marriage, happy, a stay-at-home mom to three wonderful boys, and really devoted myself and my life to just being a mom. And I'm not saying that's not enough, because that absolutely is enough. But I didn't know anything different. I was brought up where very much in a belief system that that's kind of what you do as a woman. And that's not bad. That's just the belief that was instilled in my mind from a young age. And it carried me through mothering until all my kiddos went to school. And then I kind of thought, okay, what am I to do now? Who am I? Am I worthy of doing other things? Am I enough to do other things? And I really started to go inward, and I reached out to some coaches and started getting coached and started working on a lot of self-development, and figuring out what beliefs align with me and what do not. And through that, I really rewired and transformed who I was, and in doing so, walked through a large transformation. I ended up walking through a divorce. Not bad, not nasty. We're friends. We still do certain business together, co-parent beautifully. So it doesn't need to be a bad thing, but I really found myself. And in doing that, I launched Rewired and Real, and am very passionate about helping youth get through the struggles that I now look back and realize that I had, and I was living a life that ultimately was not who I was, and I was being fake with myself. So how that kind of happened was, after walking through this transformation and looking back, I was reminded through my own children and in the different obstacles that they're going through. I should say, between my fiance and I, we have 5 boys, aged 10 to 17. So we've been through all sorts of obstacles with them, as far as anxiety, bullying, depression, all sorts of things. And I can see in them the struggles that I went through years back when I was in middle school and high school. I mean, I remember the alarm clock going off and my feet hitting the carpet and being filled with anxiety. Did I have the right clothes to wear? Was I going to fit in? Was I going to be invited to the birthday party this weekend? Putting on extra mascara and makeup to mask any little flaw that I thought I had, but still not feeling like I looked good enough or as good as the other girl in the classroom. And I want different for our youth, and I want, to create a world and a culture where we're kind, and kindness goes further than bullying and being, made to feel like you're not enough. So that's kind of my story, and where I really reflected back, and now want to create real impact and real change for our youth.
Yeah, which is so important, like you say, because you hear so many stories of kids, especially middle school, high school age, going through so many things, and they're not really given tools to cope. A lot of times, they're given pills from the doctors, unfortunately, and anything we can do to kind of help them through that process. So what was sort of your first steps in starting a foundation? If other people are out there and thinking, I would like to do something like this, how do you even get started?
So it seems so overwhelming and like there's so many things to do, but I'd say set a goal and put one foot in front of the other. And if you have the means to, get a coach. I've worked with multiple coaches, and that, I think, the biggest obstacle is getting over yourself, getting over the fact that you think that you can't do it, or that you're not enough or worthy enough of doing it. And you absolutely can do it. You know, it might take some time. You're going to have obstacles. We grow and learn through obstacles, but that doesn't mean that it's undoable. So that's where a coach has really helped me step over those obstacles and keep trucking and keep going and celebrate the wins. When you have a win, you have to take a minute and really focus on it and celebrate it, because then you're going to have more wins. So for me, it was just really having goals written down and finding the gratitude in every day, the small wins, and then just continually taking steps forward. And through that, you know, last year, it's like we launched the Million A-OK movement, and we weren't in one school, we were in 77 schools, and there was 2 of us working, you know, so it's definitely doable and achievable. You just have to believe it, and you just have to take the daily steps to make sure that you're getting there.
Yes. And I mean, I can totally relate with the worthiness part, because that's where I work with women, releasing those negative self-talk emotions, because we all have them in there and they're not really telling us truthful things. It's just our subconscious trying to protect us as soon as we're trying to get out of that comfort zone. You know, it's trying to keep us safe, but you know, we can get out there. Yeah, for sure. And
Yes.
just to let people know also, with your program, is it just in the US right now, or if they have a school that they would like to get involved with, how does that work?
Yes, we currently are just in the US, but we are fine with going anywhere. So I'd say reach out. We will send you all the tools and supplies and support that you need. We are more than willing to impact anywhere and everywhere in the world. So we look forward to any kind of partnerships.
Sweet. That's awesome. Because yeah, just so people know, you're in the US, I'm in Canada right now, but we can use kindness all over, and the world's pretty small these days with the internet.
Absolutely.
We can all get out there. Well, thank you so much again for being on here, Kjersten. And just before we go, what do you think is a tip that you could share with women that are thinking about possibly starting something like this, starting a foundation? Is there something, you know, some resource they could go to, or what do you think?
I would say your greatest resource is yourself. And
Okay.
even though you may feel at the moment that it's not, I would encourage you to dream big. And when you think you've dreamt as big as you can, dream bigger than that and jump in. We're here to do amazing things. And I think we forget how powerful we really, truly are. And make sure that you start with focusing on yourself and taking care of yourself. Meditate, read, soul search, whatever that looks like for you, dream big, and then go for it, because you are definitely built to impact and make a difference in this world.
Awesome. And just to share again the name of your website for people if they want to get in touch with you.
Yes, www.rewired, and so it's AND real, REAL.com, rewiredandreal.com.
Awesome. And we'll have that in the show notes for people that need it. But again, thank you so much for sharing with us, Kjersten. I look forward to hearing how your acts of kindness next promo goes. It's going to be super exciting.
Thank you so much. We are excited too. And thanks again for having me.